My family and I just finished a wonderful weekend trip here at our cabin in Lakeside, Arizona. We bought this property last summer through some creative financing and through some partnerships, and now we have zero of our own money left into the deal, yet we get to enjoy this place with our family. So I'm going to talk to you today about how you can do it too. In this video, you're watching the Improved channel focused on real estate investing. So how did I get a free cabin? Well, let me tell you the story. You see, when I was growing up, my mom really wanted to live in a cabin. And that was her dream. And she talked with me about it, and I thought about it, and I thought, you know what? That life sounds really great. You know, live in a cabin, have this kind of ideal family, being able to go to the cabin and enjoy yourself and having these ideal family vacations. That's what I really wanted, because it just sounded fantastic. And then when I was a kid, I had a friend whose parents owned a cabin, and he brought me with him to the cabin one day. And I looked at it and I thought, wow, this is such a fun, enjoyable experience to come and be at this cabin with the family and just do fun things. So I thought, that's what I want. So, you know, fast forward years and years later to maybe 3 or 4 years ago. About that time, I was creating a vision board. And on the vision board, one of the things that I had was a cabin. I really wanted to have a nice, beautiful cabin. So that was one of the things that I put on my vision board. And then I got more into real estate, and I was doing a whole bunch of things, and it was working great. We were doing very well and being very successful with buying and selling properties and renting them out. And it was working great. I had, great partners and people really kind of working together to help me build this great real estate company. But I really still wanted that cabin. And so I've been looking for cabins in Arizona, and there's not a whole lot of lakes in Arizona. And so to have a cabin either on the lake or by the lake, it's pretty tough. You're kind of limited to just a few places. So I was looking at this place that there was a lake, and I just kind of started looking on Zillow and Realtor and Redfin for, different cabins that are on sale. And I saw some of these beautiful cabins, but they were really expensive. But I got to know the market pretty well. Okay, and so that was one of the keys of this story is as I was looking for a cabin, you had Realtor and you had Zillow that just kind of kept my searches and would send me, properties as they would come up on the market. So I saw pretty much every property that came on the market in that area that I was looking for. One day, this cabin came up on the market, and I looked at it and I thought, wow, this cabin is 3,500 square feet, and they're selling it for $499,000. Wow. The other cabins that I was looking at that were about the same square footage were selling for like $600,000 or $700,000 or even $800,000. Now they may have been a little bit nicer than this cabin, but the square footage itself was really big for that price. So what I did was I called up the seller's realtor and I said, hey, I'm interested in this property. It just came up that day and I wanted to act quickly. So I called them up and I said, hey, I'd like to, know a little bit more about this property. And so she told me, and she said, well, the family that lived here, they lived here for about 5 years or so. And then they, moved away, and he's, either a dentist or doctor or something. And so they moved away, the property's vacant, and they're just looking to sell it. And so I said, okay, well, I'm wondering, you have it on the market for, $499,000. That seems, like a decent price. I'm just wondering, is there anything wrong with the property? She said, well, they did have some foundation issues, but they got those fixed. And there were some roof issues, but they got those fixed. And, they're not really looking to fix up anything with the property. And so I really kind of priced it accordingly. If it had a brand new kitchen, if it had some other things, it'd probably be selling for about $600,000. So I thought, well, I'll tell you what. I figured I wanted this property, so I was going to make a quick offer. And I said, How about this? I'll put in an offer, an all cash offer for $450,000. Now, this was below market value. And also, I was putting in an offer that was even below that. Now, in this competitive marketplace, a lot of people are, putting multiple bids on these properties. Now, I knew that this property had some issues with it, but I also knew that if I was quick to act and if I could get it under contract, then I could do something really great with it. So this realtor said that she'd go ahead and present my offer to the sellers. And she did, but they didn't accept it. At least not right away. You see, they told me that they had some people that were coming up to take a look at the property. And, they wanted to see if they were going to put in a higher offer. And I understood that, sellers want to sell a property and get the most that they can out of the property. I totally get that. So I told her, I'll tell you what, if they don't put in an offer that's higher than mine, I'll go ahead and I will give you a $5,000 earnest money deposit, non-refundable. So if I come up there and I don't buy the property, you guys keep my $5,000. So this was, kind of interesting to them, and they agreed to it. And I said, as long as the property is according to how it is described in the listing, and the property is the same as it's depicted in the photos in the listing, I'll just go ahead and buy it for $450,000 cash, 2-week closing. So she got them to accept the offer. So now I'm in contract to buy this cabin. I'm really excited, but I still have a couple of hurdles to overcome. One, I need to go take a look at this cabin, because if I'm going to go up there and if I'm going to use it as like an Airbnb and it's going to be, that cabin for my family, I really need to go and take a look at it and see, do I imagine myself here in this cabin? Is it going to be an experience that I really, really want? And I also have to convince my wife. Now, the problem is this. I have a lot of ideas and I get really excited about things, and that makes my wife nervous, because she knows that when I get excited about something, I might just go off and do it. And then she's there trying to figure out, man, our life just changed. How do I change with it? How do I adjust to this new life? And so, bless her, she's wonderful, and she has to deal with me and my crazy ideas.
Are you excited, Kirsten? She's happy.
But she was willing to go up there with me. So we went up to the cabin. We took a look at it. Now, the cabin had kind of a little bit of a musty smell. There was old flooring, and the kitchen was kind of old, and kind of some tile, for the countertops and the kitchen, and some other things like that. And it really needed to be redone. It really did. And so, but my wife went around and she looked around and she said, yeah, it looks nice. So we got it under contract. Now, the next hurdle we had was, how do we get $450,000? You see, we had some money in the bank account, but we didn't have $450,000. So what were we going to do? As a real estate investor, I've made some excellent connections with hard money lenders. So I go to my preferred hard money lender and I say, hey, I got this awesome cabin under contract and I'd love for you to lend on it, and then I'll buy it. It'll be awesome. I'm going to have it as an Airbnb. You can come visit. So I was really excited. And he said, no. I said, why? And he said, well, we don't lend on vacation rentals, and we don't lend in that area. So how am I going to do this? How am I going to come up with $450,000? Plus all the money that it needs to rehab it and stage it for the Airbnb listing. So I was thinking about it, and so I went to my second hard money lender, and I presented the deal. And he said yes. So I got it under contract. I got the money set up, but my hard money lender wasn't going to lend all $450,000, but he was willing to lend $400,000. So now I have to come up with $50,000 in order to buy the property, plus the closing costs, plus the rehab costs, plus the money that it takes to buy all of the furniture and stage the property. And I calculated that would probably be about another $120,000. So how am I going to come up with another $120,000? So I was thinking about it, and I was thinking, you know what? I have some friends. Let me talk to some of them and see what they think about it. So I talked with one of my buddies, Bryant. Now, I've known Bryant for probably about 6 to 8 months before this, and we've had great conversations. We were actually in the same mastermind group together, and we built just kind of a great relationship over the last several months. So I talked to him about this deal, and he looks at it and he thinks, wow, well, what do you think it'll be worth? And I say, I think it's going to be worth about $650,000 when we're done. He thinks about it. Why don't I do the deal with you? So awesome. Now I have a hard money lender coming in with $400,000. I have this private money lender, my buddy, coming in with $120,000. And his stipulation was just, hey, let's do the deal together and then we'll stay in the deal and we'll split the profits. So I thought, okay, that's great. This will work just great because I like him and I like this cabin, and it'd be awesome to have a partner that wants to do this deal with us. So we get into the deal and we buy it, we close on it. I got the hard money, I got the private money. I don't really have any of my own money into this deal at this point. And so then we start with the rehab. And my thought was, $50,000 for rehab, that's good enough. We'll put a deck here, we'll kind of spruce up the bathrooms over here. It's gonna be great. Well, when we got in the deal, Bryant says, I don't like the paint. I think the paint's ugly. We should paint it white. My thought is, cabins aren't like white. They're a little bit darker. It'll be great. But he wanted it white. And I thought, well, all right, we'll do it white. So we painted it this, little off-white color. And the truth is it actually turned out really, really good. And I'm going to show you some pictures in just a minute. So we painted it white. And then my wife says after a few minutes, what's that smell? It smells musty. We need to figure out what that smell is. So we had our contractors go in there and, move some things around in the kitchen. It turns out that there's mold behind the sink in the kitchen. New kitchen. So we ripped out all the old kitchen and, it was old and we really needed to replace the countertops and everything else. We ripped out the kitchen, put in a brand new kitchen. Then she says, I don't think I like the flooring. So pretty soon we're replacing the flooring. We're expanding a bathroom. We're doing all of these remodels. Our rehab budget, which I thought $50,000 was a good, conservative rehab budget, now is $90,000. I don't like that. I thought, okay, that's fine. You know what? We went a little bit above in our rehab. That's okay. That's understandable. Sometimes that happens. Now we're getting ready to stage the property. Now I thought, $20,000, that's pretty good for a property, 7 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms. Little did I know that is not enough money to stage this property if you want to get high-end renters or high-end visitors to your property. So my wife did her very best. She did all of these sales, or she went and did a lot of Craigslist and Facebook marketplaces to find cabin furniture that we could bring up there, and with nice beds, TVs, just a whole bunch of stuff. Our staging budget of $20,000 exploded to about $70,000. Now the truth is I was in dreamland. I thought that $20,000 was enough. It was not enough. Just to be honest, my wife was right. I was wrong. It wasn't enough money. Now, before you think that I would jump into a deal without knowing all of the numbers, let me just go over these numbers real quick so that you know that I had a good idea of what we were going to be doing when we went into this property. Okay, so quickly, I want you to take a look over here. The purchase price, $450,000 plus $10,000 for closing costs, $24,000 in hard money fees, $50,000 in repairs, and $20,000 in staging. Add $10,000 more dollars for when we go to get the long-term loan on this property, and our total out-of-pocket cost for this cabin was going to be $564,000. Now, I estimated that the property appraisal would come in at $650,000. Now, I estimated that we would be able to get a loan amount of about $550,000. That would be roughly 85% of the $650,000 value. And the reason that I thought that I would be able to get a loan for that amount is because this was going to be considered a second home for me. And as a second home, I would be able to get a loan a little bit higher than the 80% amount. That would mean that we would only have $14,000 left into this property. And if my short-term rental income numbers were right, we should be able to profit about $2,000 a month on this property. So if we could leave only $14,000 in there and make $2,000 a month, that's fantastic. That's higher than a 100% return on investment every year. So I thought, that sounds great. But now our rehab budget went up and our staging budget went up. So let's see the damage. Same purchase price of $450,000 plus $10,000 in closing costs and $24,000 in hard money costs. But now the repairs are $90,000 and the staging is $70,000. Add another $10,000 to close on it in the long-term loan, and now our total in is $654,000. And the property only appraised at $650,000. Dang it. I bought a property for market value. We had such an awesome deal, but now we were going to have to leave $104,000 into this deal. Or did we? I'm going to tell you what happened when the appraisal came in, but first, I want to show you what my wife did to this property. Check this out and see how she transformed this cabin into this beautiful short-term rental. So what do you think of that? Isn't she amazing? If you like what she did with the cabin, go ahead and comment in the notes below, and I'm going to have her go and read the comments so she can see all of the awesome things that you have to say about her. So let me tell you what happened with the appraisal. So after all was said and done, we fixed up the property, we put so much into it, the appraisal came back at $747,000. That's right. About $100,000 higher than what I had originally anticipated. So I was able to get a slightly higher loan from the bank. And because the value came in so high, I didn't have to pay mortgage insurance. And also, because it came in so high and we were able to get a higher loan, we were able to leave less money into the deal. In fact, we left about $75,000 into the deal.
But wait a second. Shiloh, you said that you were able to get this free cabin. Now you just say that you left $75,000 into the deal. Why are you lying?
No. I'm not lying. Let me tell you what happened next. So Bryant, my buddy, he stayed in the deal and brought half of that $75,000 into it. Now, my portion, my half, what I did is I sold my half to my company that I share with a couple of my business partners. They bought me out. I still retain 1/6 of the deal, but I also retain the ability to go and enjoy the cabin frequently throughout the year. So I got paid out entirely, yet I still get to use the cabin and I get to participate in equity and cash flow. This is called a slam dunk. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope that you got a lot out of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I really enjoyed making it. And I want to wish you well as you go out there and use real estate to help you reach your dreams. Have a fantastic day and good luck investing in real estate.